in charge of the caliphate. The caliphate is the successorship of Prophet Muhammad, and the rightful heirs come down through a specific chain. So you need the Ali key in order to secure the birthright of the L's. The L's come from the Kabbalah, right? When they speak of L, they talk indefinite article L, the, right? But when the is left in of its own accord, when it stand alone, it's an irrational statement, right? Right.
Like
There's no way to reference it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the L's became known as the Elohim in Hebrew, but they became known as Neteru in Kemetic. You got he buffering. That's when you know the shit getting hot, when they start making motherfuckers buffering shit. Okay, so by putting the ancient Egyptian holy drama together, the war between Set and Osiris, in which Osiris lost his life, and Set then had to fight his son Horus. This is called the holy drama, right? They call it the Book of the Dead. We call it the Book of the Coming Forth by Day, but it's none of that. It's really called the holy drama. It's a divine court case taking place between two rival brothers, and one of the brothers was married to the other brother's twin sister that he wanted to keep for himself. This unfolds the Cain and Abel story and the Esau and Jacob story. The redundancy of it shows you the pattern. So the story, so when they tell you Judas betrayed Jesus, Judas is Judah in Hebrew. It's not Judas. It's Judah. Right.
Yeah,
so what they talking about, Judah is supposed to have, the so-called Christ had a twin brother. It was Simon and Judah. But they telling you everywhere these words you read is the words of somebody named Jesus. And that's not true, because you got two different people talking with decisively different characteristics. But if none of us study forensic profiling, we'll never figure that out. And my dumb ass was just ambitious enough to study forensic profiling. Why in the fuck did I do that? I fucked myself. Now I can see this shit for what it is. And now I'm the only motherfucker that can see it. Now I look really crazy.
That's the mind. You look crazy to dumb people, though. Like, there are people who resonate with you who still don't understand your wherewithal, but they can feel what you're saying because they know it's true in their spirit. So it's like, everybody needs a teacher. You just need to be able to comprehend what he's saying or what she's saying.
That's why I got so many references. Like, people don't know that, because newcomers will come and they'll be listening to that nigga just talking, but they ain't seen all the receipts yet. I done dropped so many motherfucking receipts. God
that's
damn.
How people are trained to think.
I done gave motherfuckers the pages. I didn't even publish to put the pages in posts of books, showing people what I'm talking about. But the newcomer don't know. I'm talking now post after I done already gave the receipts. I gave the receipts in 2018. Everything I'm saying now, I'm saying it redundantly. I'm just saying the same shit over and over again. I'm talking about everything from cleaning your filters, aligning your chakras, grounding to the earth, to the spiritual baths, to the wake up, the enemy is at hand. This is where the motherfucker at. Don't take that bullshit in your arm, because these motherfuckers is lying to you, because they plan on rolling out a whole plan in the next 6 months, and 6 months later, here they come. We got to shut Earth off. Who the fuck turns the Earth off, the entire planet? They telling us a microorganism turned the entire Earth off. Come on, man. They turned it off. The Earth had a big ass closed for business sign across that bitch when you pull up out of space. Closed. Nothing's moving. They literally closed the earth, man. Who got that kind of stroke? That's some stroke.
Yeah. It's not even that they have that kind of strength. It's the people that they're directing don't have the knowledge enough to know not to fucking follow it. Because we have all the real power. So it's like if people conform, it's going to work. Like it's like we're the trendsetters. They're just the speakers. So it's like if you're going to listen or revolt. People
Look,
didn't.
somebody said, I just started listening to you. I need access to the receipts. This is a sister. She got a Rod Hayes receipts page on Patreon. She took her time, took my videos, the books I referenced that's in PDF, just in downloadable format. She put in some work. But
What's her Patreon name?
The Patreon page
so they
is
could put
Rod
it in the
Hayes
chat.
Receipts.
Write that down there.
See what she got at RHC. That's for the newcomers, that because somebody has been on my. Okay, so once I get done doing this, I'm gonna be on hiatus for about 6 months when this shit blow. While I'm on hiatus, I'm gonna download all my content off Facebook and Instagram. I gotta fight them for my other page that they closed just to get the content. Each one of them posts is gonna be a pamphlet. So you see with the timestamp and date and where it was posted at, all that's going to be in there. Because a lot of people don't know the level of receipts I had to produce to be able to talk to people like I'm talking to them now. I had to prove to a whole lot of people that I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Because if I can't prove it, and I'm telling y'all that the most traumatic thing I've discovered was the white man ain't white. That fucked me up. The black nobility.
Yeah, so imagine about somebody who doesn't have your knowledge.
But the whole point being is they come in on the news, they never know how traumatic that was, because some of the people was watching when I made the final link on the video back in 2018. Right? Then I got to hesitate how I handle the Moors, because it's a bunch of good dudes that went in there to overthrow those motherfuckers playing their game. Right? But now that's their paradigm. That's their new Moorish paradigm now. So now the only remedy is Angel Bay clean out the dirty Moors and then re-educate the righteous Moors, right? That's the only remedy without throwing out the bathwater, the baby, and the bathtub, right? So we just want to throw out the dirty water. Them motherfuckers is in every organization, but when you watch when this shit come out, because somebody said, Rob, we need to know the organizations they running today. They've infiltrated every motherfucking lodge, every religious organization, every political organization, every educational organization, especially those that they call higher learning. Because by keeping you out of the schools of higher learning, they can keep you under the income umbrella. The income umbrella was designed that we never come above a certain socioeconomic level. This is why they bombed Black Wall Street. This is why they bombed Rosewood. Was a whole fucking Black Wall Street down there. They trying to tell us it's about black man whistle or raped some white girl, and then they went on a murderous mob rage and burnt down the city or some shit. That's bullshit. They was economically self-sufficient in Rosewood, just like they were in Black Wall Street in Tulsa. All they did was the same thing. They met up with the motherfuckers from Tulsa, where we call Atlanta today, when they left, because they understood the nature of warfare. And the nature of warfare is Anytime your enemy run you out of somewhere, find where your allies at. This is why so many Floridians and Oklahomans in goddamn Atlanta. If they start tracing their bloodline, they're going to be fucked up. They was organic. They didn't want the tribes flourishing. We was in a warlock. That's why all of the money is fiat. Ain't backed by nothing.
Yeah.
It's monopoly money.
It's all fake currency. Yeah. It's literally faith. People just believe in it. That's what full faith and credit means.
I ain't got no faith in credit because credit equals motherfucking debt, and debt is slavery.
Yeah. Work employment is slavery, even by definition.
Yeah. Well, they have a book that give you legal terms. It's called ipsum sui juris. And the term, the difference between an employee and a slave is wages. That's the difference. That's what the whole idea or concept of minimum wage came from. Anybody make less than minimum wage is automatically recognized as involuntary servitude or slavery, right? That's why you have to be a child to get paid less than minimum wage, and they trick the motherfucking servers at some of these restaurants and bars because your tips don't post account.
Yeah.
Melchizedek is a title. It means my angel, the just one. That's Malachi York. Sui juris, that means, yep, of the rightful ones, or of the rightful jurisdiction.
Yeah.
But the book is like sui juris ipsum or ipso sui juris. But this was the terms in early American law. See, a lot of us haven't read none of the law books, so we don't know that a lot of times in colonial America, the lawyer was the chief of a clan that came in, and he didn't even argue the case. He argued the standing of the court in order to hear the case. That's why a lot of the early American law books are only at certain law libraries, like the one in D.C., or the one in the state capitol, right? When you start going back to early American law, go back to cases between the Confederacy and the Union, where they were suing each other. And it was natives with feathers that was overseeing the court as the judge. We don't know nothing about that because we don't have access to those books unless we go to those law libraries. And those law libraries, you have to be a barrister to get in. And I just like telling my people where they hide their shit at.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's it. I've literally been getting into law recently, studying syntax, obviously, looking at the Constitution and all the American contracts and realizing that they don't say anything because their format is adverb verb syntax. So, like, when you read it, it's actually just babble.
Yeah, well, the first thing that you have to understand is something in law called style and title. That's how it got to be wrote. If it's not written according to the proper style and title, it's not the person they claiming to be. And that's how I discovered the fraud, because the Constitution of Michigan, it had right in there if the style and title. And then when I pulled out my court documents, nothing was in the style and title proper. That immediately, that's immediately
That's how most of them are.
Identifying the fraud at its source.
And fraud negates all contracts. So at the moment there's one piece of fraud, it's null and void.
Yep. And that's the same thing I use to cancel all of the contracts from the position of a chief that's the de jure, right? Non-performance and fraud. Because they never honored any of the contracts they signed, and they signed them all under false pretense.
Mm-hmm. And they're complicit
Right.
in
And
fraud,
that's
so
why I tell
they got to get held
everybody that
accountable
if you
too.
don't want to be party to the fraud, you have to abandon the contract. And the only way to abandon the contract is anything that uses your straw man name, don't participate in it. So, like your job, you had to do a W-4 or W-2 or 1099. All of those is contracts tying you to the system. Soon as you realize the fraud,
Mm-hmm.
you abandon the contract. That way that the fraudster that wrote the contract trying to enforce it gets caught red-handed trying to enforce the contract. And that immediately gives you everything that he stole from you back because you didn't know you was in the fraud. The defense in the court of law is called the abandonment defense. Me and you could be going somewhere together. I don't
Yeah,
know what
right
you
of
finna
rescission.
do, but right before you go in the store, you about to rob. You say, "Hey, bro, I'm about to rob this store." I said, "Man, I don't want no parts of that." I go home, you go rob the store. They arrest us both. Yeah, I ain't got nothing to say. You ain't got nothing to say. My lawyer come up, be like, "Look, man, I told that motherfucker I want nothing to do with it." He said, "Cool." I went home. He went and did what he did. And then your lawyer going, man, my man ain't had nothing to do with it. He went home. I went and robbed the store. Right? Then your lawyer gonna talk to my lawyer and say, "Hey, well, what is this called? This is called the abandonment defense for your client, but for my client, we have to sever the case, or that's gonna make him look worse." Right? So that's how you strategize in law.
Mm-hmm.
The abandonment defense is to protect the person who doesn't know they're being used as a cat's paw in a crime to give him an out. If somebody's finna bring you into a
Yeah,
criminal act and you don't want to participate, you got to have a way. Once you discover there's criminal activity going on, this is the abandonment clause of the act. Once you realize what's going on, I don't want nothing to do with that, right? And you did, yeah.
yeah, right
That's
of
you got
rescission.
to know how to protect yourself. Yeah,
What you do you know anything about the laws of
boxing.
boxing? Yeah, like it's like an unspoken agreement. Like anything in a box technically can exist
Oh no, that's talking about that's a construct,
when
right?
it's on
So
paper.
you're talking about the yeah, well, at the top where it put the box around the defendant and the yeah, those are called
Yeah,
I forgot it's a name for them to put them in there. So basically, what it is when they take you into court, you're only a thumb drive. You don't really have anything to
mm-hmm.
do with anything going on in the courtroom. Everybody's a barrister but you. Automatic conflict of interest. Not just a conflict of interest, but it's a irreconcilable conflict of interest because anybody that comes to defend your interest has to be a bar member. And all bar members' first motherfucking
Yeah,
fiduciary duty is to the bar, which overrides any duty to you. So now you're caught in a conundrum. You
yeah. They
can't,
all
there's
work for the
nothing you
crown.
can do to be part and party to this action because there's no way you could participate in this action without a bar member.
Yeah. Anytime anyone gets signed over to jail, your lawyer or your attorney has to sign off on you to even go. Them, the judge, and the clerk. And the clerk has the
Yeah,
most
the
power
clerk
in
is a
every
bar
courtroom.
member too. And the clerk is the one who holds the lien because it's a lien in the courtroom every time you go in there. That's what your file is. Your file has a lien in it. And that lien in
Yes.
that file, you are the thumb drive there's or the evidence. That's all you is evidence in court. A thumb drive. Well,